platform, desktop based, it is a setup configuration or other type of the project. You have to mention it here. And underneath that section there is a suggested project supervisor who is going to supervise your project, and in the next section there is a approved by and date. So this is the whole project overview statement template. Basically, we write this template at the end of the project proposal when we are very much clear about everything. But this overview statement is placed in the beginning of the project proposal. Next section, we have to write about project goals and objectives. Again, as I have told you earlier, there is a slight difference between goals and objectives. Goals are the large statements of what you hope to accomplish, but usually they are not very measurable. They are broader in the sense and their scope is large. They create the setting for what you are proposing. Objectives are operational and it describes specific things you will be accomplishing in your project, and these are very measurable. Your objectives will form the basis for the activities of your project and will also serve as the basis for the evaluation of your project. Try to ensure that there is a considerable overlap between the goals and objectives for your proposal and the goals and objectives of the funding organization. If there is not a strong overlap of goals and objectives, then it might be best to identify a different funding organization. Because if there would be a gap between the goals, our goals, and the goals of that organization for which we are going to build a proposal, then obviously it would not be acceptable. Measurable objectives for your project should be presented. If you are dealing with things, it is easier for them to be measured than if you are dealing with abstract ideas. If we have the focus point, then we will nail it and we will get success by achieving. Your proposal is easier for prospective funding organization to understand, and the outcomes are much more clear if you describe your project in measurable ways. So what we will do here is we will prepare a goal of our project, and we will describe and we will prepare the objectives for our project proposals, and our objectives should be measurable. In the next section, we have to mention about the high-level system components. Here we have to write information about the main functional units of the entire system. Functional units to be included will be the inclusive components of the project development, so that the system must perform without taking any physical constraint into consideration. High-level system components are generally a set of cooperating components assembled together to deliver a solution to a problem. They are frequently identified in terms of inputs, outputs, processes, stored data that are needed to satisfy the system improvement objectives. If these components are missing, the system fails to fulfill the primary mission. Then in the next section, we have to list optional functional units. A list of functional units should be present, which would include a description of other features, characteristics, and constraints that define a satisfactory system. These functional units would be developed under a certain condition, for example, a technology, and expertise or time dependent. Example of these optional function units would include performance, throughput and response time, ease of learning and use, budget, cost and cost saving, timetables and deadlines, documentation and training needs, quality management, and security and internal auditing controls. They are often requirements that specify need of compliance with any legal and regulatory development requirements. They can also be design constrained due to operating system used, the platform environment, compatibility issues, or any application standards that apply. In general, you can say that any requirement that does not allow for more than one design option should be regarded as a design constraint. If the optional functional units are missing in the system can still fulfill its fundamental mission but with degraded service quality. While gathering and validating the optional functional requirements, maintain assumptions and issues list. Some activities will not give you satisfactory